Relatives and residents of Karura village in Kiambu County have been struck by grief and shock after 22-year-old Lawrence Simon Warunge killed his family, that is his dad, his mom, his brother, and his cousin, plus a farmhand. Lawrence confessed that he was inspired by reading these two books, Eight Perfect Murders, The Eve of Murder, and also a series, Killing Eve. Warunge, 22, has confessed to the murder of his parents, cousin, brother, and a farmhand, and described his parents to police as satanic and killers, and he had planned the murders for about 3 months. He had, however, told the girlfriend that there was something he wanted to do that would make them live in peace for the rest of their lives. That Saturday, he tried to convince the girlfriend to drink and smoke bang. He expected the girl to pass out as he rushed to his rural home and butcher his skin and come back. He had hoped to use the girlfriend as an alibi after killing his family using carbon monoxide. Now, the DCI recovered crucial exhibits that has unraveled the multiple victim homicide, and the suspect has squarely been placed at the scene of crime, with the detectives trying to establish the motive. The suspect had alleged that he felt neglected by the parents and that his younger siblings were also siding with the parents. He claimed that he felt that the parents were out to kill him, and that is something that a senior detective also said. First, the shoe print impressions at the scene of crime were recorded and documented at the scene matched those of the shoes that were recovered in Mai Mahiu on Saturday. Detectives had done documentation to scale and later confirmed the measurements and sole patterns matched those of the shoes recovered in Mai Mahiu. Though it was initially suspected that there were at least 3 killers at the scene, the probe had confirmed that the suspect was alone. After his shoes got soaked in blood, he removed them and walked in the house in his socks. He would later put on the shoes which were recovered in Mai Mahiu before finally putting on a woman's shoes. He bought the lady's shoes in Thika. Detectives have managed through thorough probe and suspect's confession to establish what transpired that fateful day. Warunge asked the girlfriend to buy for him a knife in Thika. The 9-inch knife with a metallic handle was among the exhibits recovered on Saturday. Thika, the suspect also bought a pair of trousers, a jacket, a lady's shoes, a piece of wig, and a female doll. He later cut off the doll's head. From Thika, the suspect proceeded to the Nairobi CBD, where he visited Uhuru Park and Holy Family Basilica. Fearing that he would be searched at the church, he proceeded to one of the supermarkets where he deposited his luggage, which were in a red carrier bag containing the things he bought plus the knife. He left the supermarket with the luggage tag, leaving his bag behind, and proceeded to the church. At around 4 p.m., he went and boarded a Limuru-bound passenger vehicle, and on reaching Limuru, he took another vehicle home in Wangunyu, Kiamba. Let's get to the first killing. Now, on reaching home, he found James Kinyanjui and asked him for a metal bar. He, however, did not disclose what he wanted to do with it. At one point, he was very nervous, and when the deceased asked him, he simply said he had a lot of stress without expounding. He would later catch Kinyanjui unawares and hit him at the back of the head several times before he cut his throat using the knife he had earlier bought in Thika. According to him, he decided to slit Kinyanjui's throat after he refused to die. A blood splatter analysis will later confirm that the blood pattern on the wall curtain emanated from a high-pressure vein in the throat. Warunge remained around the initial crime scene until around 8 p.m. when he saw his father was driven home in a taxi. Shortly thereafter, he scaled the perimeter wall. He got shocked by the electric fence but still managed to get into the compound. Now, for those who are wondering, the first killing is the farmhand, and he had his own house outside the compound, and then there was the main compound. So this is where he did his main attack. The father had brought home some bottles of Balozi beer, some of which were recovered in the house, the secondary scene that is. While in the compound, he saw the mother in the kitchen, and he proceeded to the main switch and disconnected the power. He had some paraffin which he sprinkled on a green paper bag and set it on fire just outside the kitchen door. Curious to know what was happening, the mother got out and he hit her at the back of the head with a metal bar. The cousin who heard the commotion and rushed to the door, oblivious of the impending danger, was also attacked. The mother fell down unconscious while the injured cousin rushed back to the room. All this while the father, who was taking some beer in the bedroom upstairs, was not aware that the family was under attack from their own son. Shortly thereafter, on sensing commotion, he went downstairs but met his son armed with a knife. He ran back, but the son followed him. Fearing for his life, he jumped from the bedroom balcony. He got injured, and the son followed him, where he stabbed him several times before slitting his throat. He would later hear the father attempting to open the gate to escape. He pursued him and stabbed him even more, leaving him with his intestines out. Investigations revealed that at this point he was only on his socks, as he had removed his blood-soaked shoes. He then killed one of his brothers, Maxwell Njenga, a class 7 pupil at Wangunyu Primary School, and went room for room looking for the other brother. Found the other brother, Christian Njenga, hiding under his bed in his room. The younger brother pleaded with him to spare his life. He would hear none of that and stabbed him several times before slitting his throat. After killing the family members, he showered and ate the food the mother was preparing and later sat down and watched a program of television. He slept on his father's bed until 4 a.m. when he woke up and asked for a lift in one of the delivery vans. Went to Naivasha and later went to Maimahiu, the rural home of his girlfriend, who was by then in Thika. There he burnt some of his clothes and mobile phones belonging to his parents, which he had collected from the house. He later went to Lower Kabeta, where he was arrested. Actually found him because at around midnight he had switched on his phone and detectives picked his signals, and that is how they got him. The suspect had also bought pepper and spray as well in order to appear like he was also mourning when he met his family and relatives. There are some of the things that were recovered, that is the knife, the shoes. He had thrown them at a pit latrine where his girlfriend was living. Suspect has two other sisters, one in Form 4 and one in Form 1. Actually, he had planned to kill his entire family, but what happened? The girlfriend did not bring the knife in time. These two girls managed to go to school, and that is how they survived this or escaped this horrendous crime. It was also established that the father had arrived in Kenya from the United States about a fortnight earlier, where he worked as a nurse. Also, someone who alerted the police, or the first witness, his name is Stephen Jehu, and he told the detectives that on the fateful day they finished work and he proceeded to Karura Shopping Center to relax after a hard day's work. He came back at around 9 p.m. and noticed that one of the curtains was blood-stained, but the lights were on. He got in and found his colleague James Kinyanjui lying in a pool of blood on a mattress in one of the rooms. Police were called, who later removed the body. However, before they left, they knocked at the gate of the adjacent home to find out if the residents had anything during the fatal attack. There was no response, and the officers concluded that the family had slept. Strange enough, the suspect watched everything from his parents' room upstairs, even as police processed the primary scene and finally removed the body. So clearly, as you can just hear those chilling details, this young man is a psychopath, I think. And this is the worst thing that could ever happen to a parent, that you struggle so hard and you raise a child and you ensure that they have everything only for them to do this to you. I think it is better as to have no child. Anyway, our condolences to the family, the friends, and of course the sisters who will have to deal with this traumatic event. Losing their cousin, their brother, their father, their mother. May God comfort them. Now you're up to date. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your post notification, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye bye.